Hey everybody, Zonga2134 here.
Average Joe Squad here.
And we have some guests with us.
Nightmare 1366-6.
Okay.
I'm just Riley.
And welcome to another episode of Review the Hyphen, the show where we look at video games, comic books, everything in between. And tonight we saw...
We also stuff our faces.
We do. And tonight we saw a certain movie.
Well done!
You did it while I'm holding my fucking fries in my hand.
That's the point.
It's
Listen,
fine.
you don't need your mouth to like snap. You gotta huck it all in.
All right, we'll do it again. We'll do it again. We'll do it again. One more time.
1, 2,
3. So yeah, we saw the new Addams Family film tonight.
It's horrible.
It was horrific, terrifying,
So
revolting.
morbid.
I loved it.
Yeah, no, it was really good. Before we get into that, I wanted to kind of point out how, like, our own experiences with the Addams Family before this movie. So I'm pretty sure most of us have seen the 90s movies, Addams Family and Addams Family Values.
That was my introduction to it.
Same here, and well, I only seen one, and I think I don't remember everything. I did see the cartoon series though. I think I faintly remember the 50s on TV.
Honestly, I think the cartoon was where I got into it. I didn't see those movies until I was probably a teenager.
I remember seeing the trailers for them on other stuff, but I never really watched them. I actually, because I was a big TV Land kid.
Yeah.
Like, I loved Gilligan's Island and stuff like that, so I kind of watched Addams Family when the reruns were on.
Yeah.
I didn't really get heavily into it until I was in college.
Yeah.
Oh, my experiences were primarily the 50s movies. I would just catch that on, I think it was TV Land or one of the other, Me TV was also a popular one.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, like, I enjoyed the TV show. I just don't watch it very often. And to be fair, it is pretty good. I've never seen the comic strips, unfortunately. I've never really seen those.
Plus, I remember they used to play the 90s movies religiously on ABC.
Oh, yeah.
Like around holidays.
Oh yeah, well, especially because they had a TV show for them, and they did the Addams Family reunion
What's
movie.
that? Rerun half the day of both the episodes and then the movie and then have it air again twice?
I gotta be honest, I only really watched that TV channel for JetX, so I can hopefully see episodes of Metabots and Digimon Frontier.
This guy gets it. That was my childhood.
So, to be honest, me and Doug really... Oh, sorry, do you mind if I use your name? Or...
I don't care.
To be honest, we usually say our internet tags just because we want to get our channels out, but then usually we just start calling each other by our actual names.
Yeah.
That's easier.
Besides, I can't share mine. It's on the dark net.
Oh my god, Doug, damn it.
Yeah, I'm looking around for drinks.
I haven't seen any black vans yet, but
Trust me, I'll try to keep this PG.
Remember the hyphen.
we're
Now
good.
we've added dark humor to the episode.
We're good.
like we've never had dark
the
humor.
Stadies just drove by. We're good.
So anyway, to be honest, I hadn't wanted to see it before Doug had brought it up, but my buddy Doug here, him and I are big animation buffs, and we wanted to see this especially because it's based the bases the character designs a lot on the comic strips.
Yeah, and that's something I really liked about the film with Gomez, because I think the creator was Spanish. I think Catalinian, I think.
Catalina, I think Addams.
Yeah, so I think
Hence where they got the name.
yeah, so I think I think they did a good job showing that the comics influences
that
here.
like Hispanic flavor, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yes. Yes.
So going into it, I didn't really know what the movie was gonna be about.
I didn't either.
I
I
just
was
knew
a
it-
last minute
yeah,
addition
I
to the
didn't-
script.
Neither did I.
So
I'll be honest, I kind of knew a bit. Like, I don't know if you guys had like some of the jokes you guys laugh at. I'm pretty sure I saw a lot of it in the trailers.
Yeah.
And I kind of already knew, like, okay, they moved to a new place, and
we
there's gonna
also
be
there were a lot of
mob.
inside jokes. Like obviously, like
Yeah.
there was the Body Snatchers reference and then the
Yes!
Frankenstein reference, but there were references to the TV show, which
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
I mean not the TV show, the movies in the '90s, which is what we were laughing at.
So the film opens with the wedding of Gomez and Morticia in the old country.
The ring.
Wait.
The best hand
Man
always has the ring.
No, I actually that was the only really odd redesign they had, was that thing has like a smartwatch that wears that's like his eye.
I'm so
That was
surprised.
kind of that was different, but not terribly different. It was just interesting because I was like, oh, okay. Basically they have their wedding, and unfortunately they get driven out of the old country, which I assume is probably supposed to be like Romania.
Transylvania, yeah.
Well, yeah, Transylvania.
I mean,
I know.
We
Going with that
didn't
Bram
see them
Stoker
fly
feel.
over the ocean. It might have just been a
Wait,
crappy,
they-
it might have just been a crappier part of New Jersey.
Yeah. So
Maybe it was Maine.
and basically, yeah.
It was Maine.
There we go.
So basically they get
Piss
ran
off
out.
all our Maine viewers.
So basically they
Fuck Maine.
get ran out of Stephen King's Maine. Wait, the Stephen King's Maine. With the alcoholic, the writer. Usually the
Stephen King's outside the car. He's outside the car. Lock the door.
Cujo.
So anyway, they They of course move to the only place they can go that's corrupt and as dark as them,
And
New
no
Jersey.
Damn it.
New Jersey.
Somewhere Springsteen is playing.
Yeah, and basically they're driving around New Jersey and they end up running into Lurch. Poor Lurch.
I mean, literally, they've run him.
Yeah, they let him run over.
Is he dead? No, he's demented.
Even worse.
He's alive. And he apparently escaped out of a haunted. What was it called?
It was a mental
It was
institution.
an asylum, but it didn't really seem to have anything in it besides the
It
spirit.
looked like an
Well,
old school asylum.
Well, not like that, I think it kind of implied that Lurch murdered everybody and escaped. Because you see a drawing of a dude who was ripped in
But
half.
it looked almost like Arkham
Well,
Asylum.
it even had the scarab beetle on the door, like the Arkham Asylum came. So I'm like,
Yeah.
And then his room is full of pads.
because Gotham is in New Jersey, so it could be Arkham Asylum.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Wow.
They've always
Yeah,
interpreted.
Metropolis is supposed to be New York.
Yeah,
See,
that's
wow.
why there's so much crime. It's because it's in New Jersey.
See,
Yeah.
both the viewers and I are
Can we
learning
stop
about this.
pissing off the northeastern states?
Okay, it's New Jersey. We're
gotta get to-
Pennsylvania. We're Pennsylvanians. It's our job to
Yeah,
make
well-
jokes about New Jersey.
Next, we'll get to Vermont.
But
We're gonna
basically,
go after Ohio next.
Yeah, but
they've
ba-
had it too good for too long.
but
Red
basically,
What do they
derailed.
have good, damn it?
they move into the
Derailed.
they move into the asylum, which is haunted by a spirit that always goes, "Get out." Oh, you're just upset. You haven't had your coffee yet. You're always
They
grumpy.
dump the coffee
in the toilet. And he goes, but yeah, and so we cut to 13 years later after they've had Pugsley and Wednesday. And then the film kind of has a bunch of different subplots going on. It almost seems like an episode of a TV show.
Yes, thank
or like
you.
a really long episode of a TV show.
Maybe it will be. Maybe we'll get a new animated
Which to
series.
be
that'd
fair,
be cool.
which to be fair is not a bad thing. There are I think a lot of movies should be like that, where if they just do like an episode of that TV show, even if it's like modernizing the show. Because
Right.
really, the Addams Family can take place in any time period.
I
'Cause-
think honestly they could have a lot of good success if they just take what they had from the movie and move it on. The ending was pretty ambiguous in the end.
Even if it's just a Netflix show.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
the only really overarching plot point is that there's this lady named Margot. I think?
Margot,
Yeah, it was
yeah.
Margot.
Margot.
Basically
Membrane.
basically she's like Martha Stewart or like any sort of
It's your white people renovating houses.
yeah.
South
yeah.
Park references suck. Yeah.
What is
I,
this talking-
I sell pencils for a living and my wife makes buttons. Our budget's $1 million.
Yeah.
That's like
Well,
every
it-
single home.
It even got brought up near the end. I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody else caught it. I sit on the toilet backwards. Where else am I gonna put my hands? I'm like, that's a South Park reference.
Yes!
That's a complete. South
I wouldn't be
Park
surprised
reference.
there's some South Park writers in this movie. And we
Probably,
can't check
yeah.
because all of our phones are in use right now. That's
Yeah,
what we have.
as you
phones
can
for
see,
lighting.
our-
Run
good
for
lighting.
lighting. We have
We
lighting
were
this
really
time.
struggling to
Yeah.
try and figure this out, and then we finally get it set up, and it's like,
Basic-
holy crap.
Basically, her whole thing is she wants to create.
What happened?
Where's the lantern at?
Oh, it's.
Never mind. I was gonna hold it up like Phantom of the Opera. Good evening, boys and ghouls.
I make the music of the night. Excuse me, that is my blue lantern for the Blue Lantern Corps.
Thread derailed. Thread derailed.
Okay, hey.
Thread derailed.
So basically, she wants to sell an entire town to people, called
Assimilation.
where everyone's the same and there's no such.
Why be different when you can be like everyone else?
No, this
They had a
movie.
whole entire song and skit to it.
Yeah.
You loved it.
And I'm sitting over here cracking Animal House references at that. I'm like, because he brought up, he's like, man, this is like the Hitler Youth. I'm like, well, I mean, you got Johnny and Dougie and the rest of the Hitler Youth.
No, it was whoever wrote this clearly knew what the creator because he hated the whole
Normal and
The
assimilate into
1950s.
society.
Yeah, in fact, they even I think they did because I think he did a parody of that whole Norman Rockwell picture of the family eating
Yeah, they-
Thanksgiving, and then they did the one where Morticia had the two-headed pig, and
Yeah, yeah.
that was actually really good. I liked a lot of the pictures they showing them
Transitioning.
and so basically what happens is because they drained the swamp, which I just realized that was probably a joke. That was probably a
Yeah,
joke.
that was probably a joke.
Somebody drained
That
the
hair.
swamp.
What is that hair a reference to?
Yeah, no, she's she's basically a female Trump, if I'm being honest. But basically, they drain the swamp, and the daughter of Margot Parker sees the house and tries to warn her mom that there's a house that could, kind of ruin her big
This house
show.
looks scary and it's freaky and just the mom's like, yeah, whatever, kid.
It's mysterious and kooky. And basically, the main theme of it is the Addams decide that they've lived in seclusion long enough because basically they've lived that way since
They got run out of the old country.
They got run out of the old country. And Gomez is trying to help Pugsley practice for his, what's the name of the Jewish tradition for boys?
It's basically a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, it's basically the Addams version of the bar mitzvah. It's a reference to the 90s movie. I'm pretty sure a reference to the 90s movie where, like, Gomez and Fester, like, dance with swords.
It wouldn't surprise me if
You
it
basically
is.
have to do this big Russian...
There was a lot of 90s movies references throughout this.
Well, it's supposed to be, I guess, a Russian swords dance, but it's also kind of a reference to West Side Story when he has the sword. He starts...
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But basically, they go into town, and of course, you have the Addams are weird and scary, even though they're not really.
He's had all his shots.
No, Pugsley, don't drink all the water. This man wants to have a drink.
Actually, you made a good point. Like, okay, so when Gomez goes into the coffee shop, like,
Oh, yeah.
everybody's like, "Oh, he's so scary," but he's just not really scary.
Yeah,
Enjoy
no,
your cup of Joe or
Gomez is
whoever
like the
else
mo-
you have in there.
Gomez is like the most normal looking of the family too.
But he does have a good rape face.
Well, I mean, you're not,
Christ.
Come on, at the end. Come
you're not
on.
wrong, I suppose.
God damn.
And just like that, this is the first
That's enough,
edit.
that's enough out of you. That's enough out of you, damn it.
What's that? We're being demonetized?
Am I Bill-
Wait a minute, we were getting monetized.
wait. So I'm like Bill.
Where's that money you've been hiding from me?
So I'm like Bill Hicks, and you're
All right,
like
Don't
Larry.
worry,
All
you
right.
just spent it all on
all
the
right,
McDonald's.
all right, Cone.
Sorry,
all right,
sorry.
Cone. All right, here's your cut.
I'll take that.
Spider-Man.
So
This is now a Spider-Man thread. This is now a Spider-Man thread.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, as you were saying, he is the most
Yeah,
memorable.
he's but like I do love where he's like she brings up like this really fruity coffee drink. He's like,
I need something
I'm-
a little stronger.
Cut to him just eating coffee grounds out of like the
fucking
filter.
I'm like,
You must try
why?
this.
Oh, the grate is really amazing.
And then of course we cut to them like seeing Parker and like the town alpha town alpha team.
whatever the hell it is.
Bethany or Beth?
I think it's Bethany.
It's like a
or
pep.
some-
It's like a pep
She,
squad.
she's
basically.
Some-
she's essentially what's her
she's the
name?
lead Hitler youth basically.
No, what's the name? The singer.
She's Taylor Swift.
Yeah, she's young and tiny Taylor Swift.
Yeah, and so
With horrible
basically
dementia.
Why are you saying that? Are you so mean?
Gomez is like, oh, they must be wanting to welcome us with
Shake it
a
off,
song. Cut to Uncle Fester doing this weird dance where his head disappears, then he flashes everyone and all these bats fly out. I was like, jeez, Fester.
No animated children were harmed
Even
in
though
the
this is
making.
like,
I'm just
even though
okay.
this-
I just can't go to the zoo, or I think like basically
He
he's like a
starts
child
off-
predator.
yeah, on this massive list.
Once
and it just
again,
doesn't
proving
stop.
our earlier point of an earlier episode that animation is not always for kids. Make sure to watch our first
Oh,
episode.
come on, that one joke. Come on. They're doing. Fester is teaching Pugsley to do the sword dance. Or
Oh yeah. If your matryoshka lasts for 4 hours,
See,
talk to
talk to a doctor. It's like,
But
yeah,
so like
this
so
was clearly aimed towards a teen
Yeah.
adult audience.
well, I think it's for all audiences.
And
It's
so
a
they-
It's just there are some jokes in it.
yeah,
you're not
some of the
gonna get
kids are not going to
otherwise.
get. But so basically, we have these two plot points basically with Pugsley and Wednesday because it's kind of showing that like while the Addams are very traditional, Pugsley and Wednesday clearly want to
Kind
do
of
other things.
kind of move on and kind of like
Progress the
they
family
still
overall.
agree with their traditions, but like Pugsley, for instance, doesn't want to learn the sword play because he's really good at
He's a
explosives.
demolitions man.
Demolitions man. And Wednesday basically is going through her rebellious phase, which is hilarious because basically she wants to go to school because she wants to meet all these kids because her and Parker kind of become friends when Margot comes to try and redecorate the house, and then she spray paints like X's and stuff all over
My
everything.
vanity mirror can only capture 14 people at a time.
You don't have a.
You don't have a phone.
Meanwhile, she's just shooting a
You
crossbow
don't have
at
a
Fester.
crossbow.
Pugsley or Wednesday.
Great shot. Shoots him between the
No,
ears.
Fester is so great in that movie.
Oh, and reference to the '90s, he got the light bulb.
Oh yeah, he had the
Yeah,
light.
he had the
Well,
light
no, he had the
bulb.
light bulb in the TV show too.
Yeah, it was also
Okay.
a TV show.
Usually when
reference.
he wanted to like think he would put the light bulb in his mouth, and then we had an idea the light bulb would light up.
Okay, but yeah.
But I also love he has a tattoo that says no regrets.
Regrets.
But basically, you know, like the like Pugsley's trying to learn the Matryoshka dance, and he's getting nervous about it. Wednesday more or less wants to make friends and kind of see the world for itself.
Wednesday is really the true star of this.
Oh no, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Like the '90s movie, she steals the show,
Like she goes to junior high and
and she just assumes it's a prison.
yeah, but
Which
the
I
thing
mean,
is,
to be fair, it's middle school.
Parker had mentioned, that there was a lot of bullying going on, and the lead Pep's person, the Taylor Swift lookalike, basically bullies the living shit out of her. And so Wednesday just walks up to her, and she's basically like, "You're not locked. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me."
Did you remember the first thing you said? Don't you cut your eyes on my crew.
She cut your eyes on my crew. Oh my
She
Jesus.
just instantly is like, "Oh, this is a prison." And then she does the biggest flex. They're doing they're in the science class and they're
Dissections.
doing frog dissections and
I've
she's
done
like,
this a lot before.
so she builds like a lightning machine and does like basically just does the original Frankenstein movie where she not only brings her frog to life but every other frog in the
It's
room.
alive! It's alive!
Give my creation life. And it was.
And then, of course, that's the body
Yeah, they
snatch.
back up a Frankenstein reference with a body snatcher reference.
she
It's
does the.
fucking amazing. And all these frogs jump after the really preppy girl. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, like it reminds me so much of the camp scene from Values when she just burns the kid to the ground.
Yeah, I've decided to scalp you all and
Oh,
burn down your village.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, like I said, it would be hard for us to really do a whole dissection of the movie just because it's very much a bunch of little vignettes.
It's very much like an episode of the original TV show, to be
Yeah,
honest.
actually, it really is. Even in the fact that at the end of the movie they redo the opening theme.
Which you can ask him. I saw
Yeah.
it. I was losing.
Well, yeah,
like,
no, 'cause
I saw
it's
it.
just
It was
that-
like that. It was that weird aspect ratio. and I was like,
and not only that,
oh my god, and it's
and not
in
only
black
that,
and white.
and not only that, Morticia's in the chair with her hands like this, doing the. And then like you cut to Gomez, and he just has the creepy face that he was bringing up.
Yeah.
It was completely like scene for scene the original.
Yeah,
intro.
even like
It was
him like filing the
amazing.
spikes, and there are just some really good jokes. The cast is really well good. Bette Midler does great as Grandma. I forget who was Uncle Fester, but he was
Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll. He
What
nailed
about
it.
Lurch playing Green Onions by
Oh.
Booker T and the MGs?
Oh, the best part is when
Yes,
is
yes.
that song when Wednesday runs away and he's like,
Everybody-
Yeah, it's REM.
Yeah, it's REM.
yeah, what
Play
because
some
he goes,
REM.
everybody. I'm like Lurch,
That's my
man.
shit.
I want Lurch's album, really.
When's Lurch dropping his album, man? I need
That's
this.
gonna be the bombest album.
Golden mixtape, man.
And of course,
It's straight lit.
you would think it'd be really awkward, but they have Snoop Dogg as cousin.
Oh my god, it was amazing. Me and him were flipping out.
He pulls up to the house playing
Drop
Drop
It
It Like
Like
It's
It's
Hot.
Hot.
Drop It Like It's Hot.
What does
His
the
license plate says "cuz" on it. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah, if I don't really think we really had any, because I had seen the Cinema Snobs review of this movie before going in.
You did?
Not on purpose. I was just
I know
kinda
you mentioned
curious.
that he thought a lot of the jokes were dry. I didn't think any
Well,
of them were dry.
He
I thought they were all
he
really
liked the
funny.
visual ones. He just thought like some of the, which to be fair, if you watch the TV show, like it's the kind of.
I thought the puns were funny.
No, the
Yeah,
puns
I-
were the
I
puns
was
were
laughing
great.
This party's gonna be lit. I'm like, Jesus, no.
When they have to cross the bottomless pit in the basement,
this surfing
the
the
web,
web.
and she just
I'm
like,
like Morticia just picks up her dress a little bit, and all these spiders come crawling out of her dress. I'm like, ooh. And they're all Black Widows
This
too.
is our wine cellar. We have a large collection of
Yeah,
wines.
Bob's the corgi. It's just people like, when are we gonna get to the movies? that was really
This is
really
great.
That was great.
Complete pun. It was
Oh,
amazing.
when it's game night and
They're playing Battleship with actual explosives.
and Fester's taking a bath with a boat singing
Titanic.
yes a song from
That
Titanic.
reminds me a lot
my
of
heart,
this.
my heart goes on.
That reminds me a lot of
You
this.
sunk my battleship.
It reminds me a lot of the scene from the TV show where they're playing with the trains and they purposely make them crash into each other.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
And then they blow them up.
I don't think Gomez ever played with his trains in this
Oh,
movie.
wow, you're right.
They show it in the fake
Oh,
intro.
the fake
Yeah.
intro, but he doesn't play with his trains one time in that movie.
That's for the
actually
sequel. They can't let all the cats out.
And
of
to be
that.
fair, they probably will. I hope this movie does really well because I wouldn't mind seeing a sequel because it. You had some problems with the animation though. I thought you were.
I mean, I like the animation and all, and I think it truly did capture like the Addams Family vibe, but it was just everything was rough.
I think you meant mostly the designs for like the normal people in the.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember.
People, like,
do the actual quote you told us because it killed me.
all right. So here was the thing. There was not a single normal person. They just weren't the Addams Family. There was either this very swole man who was essentially a brick, or this other man who was a stick figure, and then the animators are like halfway through and they're like, oh crap, we gotta color that in.
I remember you being on point, you're like, everybody's either skinny as shit or they're thick as hell.
But Riley, that's the point. Normal people are as bad looking. They're weird.
Nobody is normal. The one chick sits on the toilet
Well,
backwards.
to be fair, I think that was kind of the point that, like, just because the Addams Family are mysterious and kooky, like, everybody's mysterious and kooky.
The only normal one here is Jack.
And the one closest thing we had to like a semi-normal human design was Margot, the main antagonist. And she herself, every single time she was referred to by the Addams Family herself, oh, the walking plastic doll or the mannequin.
Oh, yeah. She looks
Anything but human.
Wednesday's like, she looks like a death mask.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
Jesus.
every
Like, and
single time.
there's another one where she's like, she looks like a mannequin. I'm like,
No.
Wednesday is just straight up a savage in this movie.
Wait, what did Uncle Fester say when after she said about the death
Your
mask?
breath smells like a baby's diaper.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was-
No,
it
she
was-
says that. Yeah, him and Margot end up hooking up because I guess
Which is a
Parker,
total
Parker and his
reference.
mom get like divorced, I guess, and she's like, I knew I should have went and lived with my dad.
Total reference to the 90s movies, obviously. Total reference right
Oh
there.
yeah, because like, although I don't think she's a husband murderer, a black
Yeah,
widow.
she's not a black widow like that
like
movie,
the
but
chick in
still.
that. Which was hilarious. I always love that in that movie where she just wants to kill Fester. I'm like, honey, you don't need to kill Fester. He already loves you for the crazy you are. You can just get some of his money. Like, you would have fit right in with the Addams. I don't really understand why you're going to all this trouble killing him. But yeah, no, I will admit, I thought the comedic timing was really good. Not like when the balloon floats over their house, Wednesday's gonna try and bury Pugsley alive in a grave, and like they see the balloon. And at first you think she's not gonna do it because like they're shocked. But then once they leave the frame, you hear thwack, and then cut to Pugsley pulling himself out of the
There's usually
grave.
motorist clowns attached to these.
Yeah.
Oh, no, there's-
references.
Okay, one of the biggest laugh out moments. Remember Margot and them, the crew comes in the house and they're like,
Oh yeah, and Margot
Gomez.
inspects one of the candlesticks as a reference to Young Frankenstein, and it flips the dude into the
It's the boom mic guy. It's the guy with the
boom
mic.
mic.
Right.
Put the
What was it?
candlestick.
which
don't
he
remember
comes
his
back
name.
later through a picture.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I
like,
can't remember what his name was, and they were standing.
Wait,
at the
we forgot
entrance.
Mike.
yeah,
Yeah,
we forgot Mike.
Mike who?
Mike
Who
who?
are you talking about?
Mike who?
It's like-
So Becca was saying,
well, actually, I love when he tried to leave at first, and then the lion. I forgot. Did the lion ever have a name, or did they just call
No,
him Kitty?
Kitty.
but I like how he has the boom mic between him and the line. I'm like, dude, the boom
boom
mic
mic's
ain't
not
gonna
gonna
do
do
shit.
anything.
Yeah, originally it was just like, yeah, guys, sorry, I choose life. And
Yeah.
so no,
Yep, sorry,
the
I
scene
choose
I was
life.
talking about is when Morticia's like, oh, we've been expecting you. Pugsley's been crawling up the wall.
Oh yeah.
And
That paranormal activity shit. I was like,
Wait, and he
what?
Oh, like it's practically gonna pop your head off. I can do that on my own. And Uncle Fester like twists his.
Where is Wednesday? He gets the watch out. I'm like, but that ain't gonna do nothing.
Yeah, no, I love Morticia. She's just like, it's
Really?
really cute that you're trying to use hypnotism on me, but where's your sister? And they do actually a lot of references to the TV because I don't think they the movies reference, but they have Morticia's meat-eating plants.
yeah.
Cleopatra, which I don't think they ever show in the movies.
I don't
It's
think
been
they-
a long time.
I can't remember, and I don't have them readily available to
I
watch.
almost forgot, but like in the TV show, they had a I'm gonna say a Harry Potter reference, but they had like a Whomping Willow, the living tree.
Oh, Ichabod, yeah.
I actually forgot about Ichabod until this movie. I was like, who's Ichabod? I don't remember a character named Ichabod. I was like, oh yeah, the tree.
Yeah, you were looking at me, and I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah, I know. Well, because like I said, this movie
I
does.
usually got a pretty impeccable memory.
This movie goes out of its way to do a lot of references to like everything, like even down to having a rap song at the end of the movie, like the original Addams Family movie.
It really reminds me of.
Do what they want to do, say what they want to say.
You,
And
you
even
can
then-
tell. You can tell the animators and the producers. They really.
Yeah, they
cared.
really- yeah.
They
Yeah.
cared about the source material. It's kind of like. I hope that makes it so this succeeds because fans of both the movies and the show will like it. It's kind of like how. The people that make the Spider-Man PS4 game, there was so much care and attention to detail
Yeah.
to it that it's really charming. That it's like it goes out of its way at times to reference other.
Well, and for me, that was
instances.
one of the reasons why I liked Into the Spider-Verse so much, because it wanted to do so many. It cared about the character, and it had so many references to both the comics, the movies.
It respected the source material,
material.
and it respected that people enjoy the material, and they really do that here with the Addams Family.
'Cause,
They
like-
they go out of their way to reference and bring in other stuff.
Because like, as so many shows that have done like reboots where they go into like an animation or something. Like sometimes they just are like, oh, we're just gonna slap something out. But this was actually,
Well, like Smurfs.
yeah.
We don't talk
Well,
about that.
you mean the Neil Patrick Harris movie where he pretends to be a straight man, and then occasionally we cut to some blue people.
What's up, guys? This is actually a review for the Emoji Movie. So, what were your thoughts?
Could you imagine getting paid to be told, all right, you're gonna be a piece of crap. I need you to say this line.
No, even better. Hey, we're gonna not make Gendy Tarkovsky's Popeye movie because we want to make a movie about emojis because that's really the end of this year.
Don't worry, that was a thrilling success.
Getting back on topic, because again, thread derailed.
I think if you're gonna go into this, my only thing is, I think if you're gonna go into this movie expecting like the really, really risque humor that the '90s movies did, while there is some risque humor in here, it's definitely more of a like a wink and you'll miss it sort of thing. Like it's more like a '90s cartoon where it gets crap past the radar. But if you're a little kid, you're not gonna get it. But if you're an adult, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the '90s, because like that was the thing with with '90s TV show movie things. They really tried to like, you know, like the Flintstones movie. They wanted to be like, no, we're gonna ratchet it. We're gonna be risque
Push the envelope
because the parents are coming to see this, not the kids. Which
Yeah, it's the whole every couple decades or so, every decade basically one industry decides to push the boundaries. In the 70s it was comics. In the 80s it was movies. 90s it was TV movies.
and
now I don't know what it is.
well now we got to make everything like Michael Bay. We gotta do Transformers movies and Power Rangers movies that are garbage. Okay, it's still recording. I was afraid it stopped
Nope,
recording.
it's still going.
Well, no, it was down here originally and then went up here. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, don't.
But yeah, I really did enjoy it. You know, if you're a fan of the Addams Family, like regardless of how you like the Addams Family, if you like the cartoons or like the original stuff, or if you like the live action stuff, or even just the TV show, I think there's something in here for everybody. Everybody else want to give their final thoughts?
Yeah, I don't think you would miss out by like, you know, but watching this movie. It's a good watch, like regardless of how much you know, how little you do know. It's just a treat. It's simple, easy to follow, you know,
It's
take the
entertaining.
kids.
And
It's entertaining.
I think part of the reason what it helps is that it's only 80 minutes. So they
It didn't seem like we were in the theater very long.
yeah, no,
at
I
all.
felt like we were only in there like 30 minutes, but
Usually, at least when we go to see movies, you know, and I guess Endgame kind of spoiled it for us, you know, sitting there for 3 hours
Yeah.
and having a time when you're going to the bathroom.
That's
Yeah.
rough.
Like, it was a very good experience. That hour and 20 minutes, it didn't feel like there was any part of the movie
That dragged.
where it's like, all right, when are we going to get to the next stuff so that way I can start looking forward to the end? Because all of it flowed so, like, well that it's just like you saw it all feeding into each other into a really good, you know, wholesome, you know, movie.
And it's something you can watch, like, if you were like, well, I want to have a movie night with some friends, but I want to put something on that's going to have us here for, like, hours and hours and hours. You can throw this on, and you get some laughs, you have some fun, and the movie is only 80 minutes.
honestly, this wouldn't be too bad if you wanted to do like a marathon with the first two movies and then this.
Oh, definitely.
It's something you take it, like, at whatever layer you choose to. If you want to see it as a simple kids animation, you absolutely will. If you want to, like, dissect it and look for every single reference you can, you better get a chart.
Wait,
down
when this
and go
come on,
find
when
it.
this comes out on DVD, I really do want to kind of dissect it. It'll be a lot
Yeah,
easier to
'cause
dissect.
So I'm getting it on Blu-ray when it drops.
I swear,
so.
one of the Addams Family relatives, a girl or a woman with red hair and kind of like a burlesque outfit.
I know who you're talking about. The one that was near the end.
Yeah, I swear I thought that was like a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was
probably
a Dr.
was.
Frankfurter
I mean,
reference.
they're dropping so many other references in it too. Like at one point, you know,
The whole
Gomez is bringing up to Pugsy, like, you know, get rid of all the explosives. TNT, M80s,
M80s,
holy
Roman-
hand grenades.
Roman candles.
I'm like, holy hand grenades.
Well, I mean, for one of the Addams Family members is clearly the devil, which is the one that
that
lights
was
his head
very
on fire. I hope this party's lit. I'm like,
Oh, yeah, that was...
I'm still chuckling at
See,
that
and
because that was
it
amazing.
didn't, like, linger on that joke either.
Yeah, no,
it was quick. It was just,
It was
like,
like-
you know,
I
you're
feel like
either
that's
gonna
a
laugh
problem
or
with
you're
a
gonna...
lot of animated films nowadays, where like they really want to hold on like jokes that they think are really funny.
And it's like,
That's the biggest
if you have to
thing.
explain it to me, there is no joke.
Yeah, that's
Well,
the biggest
yeah.
thing. Is
Sounds
like,
like a Family Guy joke. Like it just lingers on and on.
I mean, sometimes that can be funny, but like for me with animation, I
It
think
gets old really
Well,
quick.
then if you're doing like, especially like that's one of the reasons why my favorite SpongeBob episodes are the ones where it's like Wet Painters, where it just keeps going. Like they don't linger on jokes. Like, I mean, the closest you could was like the time card joke, but even then, that's like, are you moving along? I'm running out of time cards. Anyway, Doug, what was your final one?
I would have to say,
Especially because this was like your idea.
no, it's
Which,
good.
thank you for inviting me, by the way.
Hey, no problem. I was really happy to both.
Well, I mean, we
watch-
would have filmed this without you, regardless, one way or the other. But
Ooh!
That's wow.
Boy,
But he's a
Adam,
coward.
now you're killing people in your car.
You
Jeez.
went over my helmet?
this is now, remember, the Hyphen Civil War.
Oh,
I'm
great.
taking Riley and I'm going to England.
Anyway, Doug.
That's what this is
Oh,
going to be.
oh boy, England.
gonna
I'll have
somehow-
to learn a whole new language.
I'm gonna bring in clones. I'm just gonna bring in clones. So, but yeah, no, I'm
I
really.
got an unmanned drone watching this whole vehicle right now.
Doug,
What?
your thoughts?
You're the one's distracting.
I know,
So,
we're sorry.
of all people.
So I think what Adam says is that the film is a lot of subplots and vignettes where it doesn't feel like a regular movie where there's a central plot or a central flow of direction of a progression.
Yeah.
However, I think that overall it does converge pretty well. Like, yeah, I think it was first of all just it was beautifully animated. Really, like as you said, there was a lot of details, a lot of love going to the characters' behavior, their speeches, their designs.
It wouldn't surprise me too if there was some stuff in the background that was references
Yeah.
and we just
I
didn't
can-
notice
yeah,
it.
Yeah,
could
because
only
there was a
imagine
lot of stuff.
And I was gonna say, yeah, it's a great movie, not just for families, for friends, but it's also a great Halloween movie. It's a
Oh, yeah,
perfect
no.
time around,
Tis the season.
and I just think that I really, as you guys said, I would love another sequel or even a TV series. That would be wonderful. And I think it really was like a Addams movie, or it was definitely Addams Family material.
You know, and to be fair, we say that, but like to be fair, the original movies weren't really like plot driven either. It was just kind of like, here's what the Addams are doing today.
It was kind of like SNL almost.
I mean, to be fair though, I think that like a good movie can be like that, where it's just let's look at these characters and what they do throughout their
Miyazaki's like that sometimes.
because like the original Addams Family movies, we talk about how great the plots are, but let's be honest, the plots are pretty basic. Like some
do
lady
this.
comes along to try and steal the Addams' riches. A woman wants to marry Fester so she can kill the whole family and steal their money.
Well, nobody was involved for their money this time.
Actually, yeah, that was kind of weird.
Where did they get the money?
Well, you know,
Actually, the ABC Family one actually explained that they used to have a pirate, Addams, and they have all of his treasure from all of his pillaging.
Okay, why is now Addams Family becoming the Duck Scrooge family?
Fester, my good boy.
oh, the one grandma, what do you call it?
Cleaned out a bunch of Somali
Yeah,
pirates.
Oh yeah, that's right. I
She
forgot
came
about
from
that.
Prague, and then she hitched a ride on the Somali pirates' boats, and she's like, I cleaned them out. Do you mean rob them or one and like by cheating? Why both? Is there any other way?
It's not cheating if they don't catch you.
Also, I want to say I really thought it was cool how Morticia and Gomez, like, they weren't just two-dimensional characters. Actually, all the characters felt more.
Yeah, actually, there was a little bit of actual tension between the two of them. Usually, the two are just like.
Yeah, it felt like more than your just basic plain people.
And I love near the end too, like a lot of the movie has been Wednesday like flexing basically. And then
yeah.
near the end, like Morticia just
does
instantly
that?
makes Margot
Yeah,
just,
no,
take a
because
step
like,
back.
well, because
and
like
it's
the idea is like Morticia's kind of stressed out about like Wednesday's kind of rebelling and kind of pulling away from her, and trying to do like this big thing for Pugsley.
And it's mentioned by her parents that she's done this. That Morticia did the same thing.
Oh yeah, she joined
like
the
she
Girl
went up and
Scouts.
joined the Girl Scouts, and then when she found
On
out
a
that roast bonfires didn't involve roasting Girl
girls.
Scouts, she got bored and went home.
Which always makes me think that Morticia was basically like Wednesday when she was little.
It wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me.
It would not surprise me. But yeah, do you have any final thoughts?
As someone who enjoys the TV show immensely, enjoys the 90s movies immensely, I'm also a huge Christy Ricci
Christina
fan.
Ricci.
Especially in, what is it? No, I'm trying to think. What's
Of course.
I know, I'm sorry.
what's the axe murderer thing?
Oh, Lizzie Borden.
She's in Lizzie Borden
I forgot
Chronicles.
she was
and
in that.
I swear to God, me and my mom noticed this because we used to watch that show when it was on. It got canceled, sadly.
Yeah.
She's basically playing Wednesday if she were an axe murderer, and it's amazingly funny.
Well, I mean, to
at
be
times.
fair, that's Lizzie Borden.
Like, there's a part where, like, she blackmails this guy, a little off topic, but it's kind of funny.
We've been going for 34 minutes, it don't matter.
There's this part where she blackmails this guy into helping her get rid of the body. And, you know, he dumps the body in the ocean. It's either an ocean or a lake or some crap. And he's like, "There, are we done?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she throws all this stuff on him. And he's like, "What did you throw on me?" And she's like, "You'll see." Lights a match and sets him on fire. And is just sitting there watching him burn. And she's like, "Oh dear, you're on fire." Until he jumps in a lake, and at that point he's dead anyway.
Yeah.
Because he's still on fire. And it was the funniest show because it was like, it's my kind of black humor, which I think is why I like.
Gas or oil.
It's kind of like why I like Addams Families, because there's a lot of black humor, which, as Doug here knows, because he's known me longer than anybody in this vehicle, I enjoy black humor.
I mean, to be fair,
I
I enjoy myself a little gallus humor on occasion, but
You're Mr. Wholesome.
That's like basically my main sense of humor is getting enjoyment out of stuff that really shouldn't be funny.
Okay, I pretty much already did that in this review, and of course I've already apologized.
Yeah, we've gone past that. Let's continue on.
There's definitely some collar tugging.
Does anybody want to see a magic trick?
Oh God.
I do have one.
No. Fun fact: this man. Tell them that story about the Dark Knight.
About my film class.
Oh God.
Again, because this thread got derailed a long ass time ago. We're in the end game
rambling.
now.
Well, it's a podcast. It happens.
So I took a film class in my senior year of high school.
You too?
Actually, so did I.
No, it wasn't even my senior year of high
Did you
school.
take a film
Hold on.
class?
No.
Oh.
It was actually my junior year. It was my junior year of high school. And I took a film class, and basically it was we would watch movies, and that was basically it. You'd watch movies, you'd take notes, and we would discuss them as a class.
Wait a minute, was it Mrs. Randall?
No, it wasn't Randall. It was Lucas. It was somebody else. There were two different ones. Randall
Mrs.
taught
Lucas-
one,
actually,
and Lucas taught one.
I think Mrs. Lucas, because she was from,
she's
from Coney
from
Lake
Coney
Elementary.
Lake.
I'm pretty sure our viewers don't really know what the hell we're talking about.
That's okay.
Hey, someday someone from one of our classes will find me like, "Oh, I know who they're talking about." But anyway, so we're watching Dark Knight, and
Dark Knight?
Fuck you. Anyway, I'd seen the movie like a couple months prior, and I didn't remember this scene at all. It's like, I don't know if I was in the bathroom or what.
For
It's
context,
the scene when the Joker comes in.
yeah, talking
and
when the mafia hires him to kill Batman.
who is this clown? Y'all want to see a magic trick? And he takes this pencil and he sticks it in the desk.
He's like, I'm going to show you a magic trick.
Yeah, and he doesn't do anything, right? And they're kind of talking, and this bodyguard rushes him, and he takes the guy's head.
It's gone!
And I just started fucking laughing. Because, like, I'm sitting there dying, basically. No pun, actually pun intended. I'm sitting there dying, and I quickly realize
Nobody
I'm
else
the
is
only
laughing.
one in the room laughing at this. And I have all these people staring at me. I'm just like, I'm sorry, I thought that was hysterical.
I mean, when I watched that for the first time, my response was when he did the ha 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 ho 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 he, and I thought I thought Nolan was gonna do that thing where he's like, well, he's not gonna be really funny. He
And then he does that shit. It's
and
like,
I'm like,
funny.
oh, all right, here we
That's
go.
funny as hell.
Let's strap in.
You killed Captain Clown.
You killed Captain Clown.
You guys haven't heard Adam funny until you've heard Adam in a Scooby-Doo voice say we
Oh
live in
no, no,
society.
our viewers know.
Like, you want to know how I got these scars?
No, that's not the one
One
I'm talking
night-
about. What did you do to me earlier today? We were getting ready to leave.
Oh, we live in a society, Reggie.
Now,
Right, so serious, Reggie.
Scooby Snacks. Where are they? Where are they?
I have to save Relma. Ready, Rain.
Must protect Mothra. Why'd you say the name?
Scream.
Oh God.
Sorry.
Wait,
what was the one thing you wanted me to do, Doug?
Oh, do Shaggy, but in Clockwork Orange.
Oh no.
No.
Stop.
No. No, that's a little too much for our.
That's a different time. That's a
Do The Shining. Come play with us.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Like, come play with me, Scoob. Forever and ever. Zoinks.
All right.
I do have one.
I don't like Fred's plan.
I do have one criticism of this film. So there's a scene where they're preparing for the what's
bar
it called?
mitzvah. Because nobody else can remember the name.
It's true. I can't remember the name at all.
Mar Vista.
The
You said
Addams
it, you said it
Bar
one.
The
You
Momista
said
or
it, Mar Vista. Yeah, you said it at one point. I can't remember what you said.
Because we just kept calling it the bar mitzvah.
Yeah,
Let's be
that's what it
honest.
So there's so they're preparing Morticia and Grandma, and there's a dinner plate with
Jesus.
seeing heads.
You wanted it to be a talking head, like
Yes,
burning
it
down the
would've been
house
perfect.
or something.
That actually,
I actually would have laughed my ass off at that.
Or wartime.
That would have been like such a good inside joke.
Yes, and one of them should look like David Byrne.
I was actually really happy that they constantly did the because like
And every time they did it, me and him were just sitting there. Every time we heard it, da-da-da-da.
Did you guys catch this? Did Margot whistle it or hummed it like when she was going to her lair?
I don't think she did.
She did.
I swear. I mean, we may have to get the DVD to.
Yeah, when the boy
I don't
comes
remember
out,
that.
I
like,
swear she was doing like a hum that sounded like the Addams theme. Like
I also really like that they did mix it in a lot with the music because like that leitmotif is one of those ones I think can just mix into any sort of sound. Especially the rap song again at the end. I always love how every single Addams Family movie has to have a rap song in it. Do what they want to do, say what they want to say.
Oh, that was really well done at the end. Because it wasn't, they did it both like.
I was surprised
as
they didn't
the
have
end
Snoop
credit.
Dogg sing that.
Oh, I mean, I'm sure he had more than fun being Cousin Ed.
okay, well, if he's willing to do a commercial for Spiral the Dragon, he can do anything.
Hey
I'm
y'all,
pretty sure he'll do whatever he wants.
I can't believe neither you nor me when that happened, and things get real wild when Snoop Dogg gets in the mix. Hey y'all, sneaking.
Are you talking about the robot chicken?
Yeah,
Monkey Island.
the Addams Family party gets really wild when Snoop Dogg shows up. Hey, I'll sneak it. It has to be a high pitch. Hold on.
Like, 'cause they put that weird sound filter over his
that fucking
voice.
Wait,
filter
is it
over
also like in reverse? I swear.
I think actually, I wonder if it
probably
was
wa-
in reverse.
it
I wouldn't
probably
be really
was.
surprised.
Wait,
Oh,
do
that
you
would be a
think?
treat to find out what he said.
What's
then.
funny is they made
Yeah.
him really small. Usually when they have Cousin It, he's just this big tall
He's
guy.
like just this dude in a costume, usually.
He
Usually.
reminds me of Mr. Peanut a bit. Kind
Well,
of.
he did have the pimp cane like Mr.
Oh
Peanut.
my god, that was
And then
beautiful.
show the Ruby.
I'm glad I was the only one that wasn't thinking the Mr. Peanut thing, because I also thought that. I just
I
didn't say
really
anything.
wish they had some really tall chicks with Cousin It. Like he.
Oh, that would have been beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Also,
beautiful.
I forgot Thing had a foot fetish because he was trying to find a.
Oh my god, that was another adult joke, and that was funny as hell.
I forgot about that.
That was an adult joke of ever, because like, you know, if you're a kid, you're gonna think, oh, he's looking for a foot to complete his hand, and then all the rest of it was like, no,
He's got a foot fetish.
That's right,
Jesus.
Billy. That's why he's doing defining.
Especially when Morticia comes in on him and he's like,
She's not even phased. She's not even phased.
yeah, she's not even phased.
He's in all. He's. You
Oh,
know,
please.
knowing how backwards they are, he's probably looking at that in a normal browser too. Like he's not deleting the browsing history.
You know, he's on FootHub.
He's definitely not in incognito mode at all.
Oh, I see. So you guys can make these jokes, but if I make a joke,
Because these are acceptable jokes.
for what audience?
Doug,
Actually, do you remember that Robot
We
Chicken
have no
sketch?
audience.
Do you remember
Dan.
that
We have
Robot
5
Chicken sketch where
subscribers.
it is dating that female hand named Emma Jig, and Gomez is at the end like, how are they gonna
Yes, yeah.
And then
yeah.
at the end it's just the two hands. And
Yeah,
it's-
doing that.
yeah.
I remember that one.
Oh man. To be fair, they always do that with thing if they have a female hand that he meets. Her name is Emma Jig.
Really?
Well,
Yeah,
because Thingamajig.
Oh, yeah.
It's
yeah.
it's
I didn't know it was
it's
a
an
common
inside
thing.
yeah, it's an inside
Good
joke.
joke.
well,
Wait.
it's outside now, guys.
I also kind of love their origin for Lurch, where he's just a sane escape.
They run him over.
Well, because like in the original TV show, he had like a mom who was like really normal. But like I like how he still lives.
It sounded
That
like
was
it
great every time. I think he even stretched out longer every single time he came to the door.
Yeah, because they started talking.
It became an excuse me, princess.
Well, except
moment,
I
basically.
could tolerate it.
That's what it came. That's what it basically became.
I mean, it would have been great if Lurch went, gee, it sure is boring around here. And then Gomez went, my
Can't wait to
boy,
go slay some dodongos.
I'm so hungry, I could eat an octopus. Oh my god.
Okay, let's stop with the CDI reference.
Okay, how many
So,
I would love to see how many references we had made just trying to just talk the Addams. Like we just go all over the place.
All right, so what's gonna be our final ratings, boys? I give it 5 out of 5 crossbow bolts.
Let's see. I'll definitely give 5 out of 5 tombstones.
Pizza?
No, not Tombstone
French fry?
Pizza.
Well, no, because in the movies they had advertisements for Tombstone Pizza.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I didn't
They had
notice
Tombstone
that.
Pizza advertisements all over that
Okay,
thing.
boys, let's
There
go
you go.
get some.
Alright,
Oh, we should have done that. We should have.
Wow, we
we
should've
should have
done
read
Subconscious messaging wasn't good enough.
I give it 5 no regrets tattoos out of 5.
Of course.
Riley?
I'm gonna give it a 5 holy hand grenades out of 5.
All right, I think we've talked for a long enough time and got out of all sorts of tangents, but
That's gonna call it for this episode. So,
Good luck
as
trying
usual,
to timestamp
this-
anything.
as usual, I'm Colton.
Zongetsu 134,
I'm Dougie Fresh.
I'm just Riley.
and
we
as
are-
always, remember the hyphen. Sorry.